Hey everybody, it is just Marco J. Carlson here once again for another episode of How to Make a Movie Universe. And I would like to start off by saying I was going to do a different kind of video for this. I was going to do something where I live on camera decided about who would play this side character in my upcoming film, Dr. Imperfect and the Perfect Man. But what happened was last night, I thought maybe I should have a general idea because, I'm classic with, having a tough time making decisions. Like even when it comes to things like, oh, what do you want to eat for lunch today? Like sometimes I struggle with that. And sometimes I'm just kind of like, like all of it sounds good. Like that's kind of why, part of the reason why I even became a filmmaker is because I thought, like, I could put myself into different life situations and I could experience all sorts of different lives through playing characters and kind of, telling stories. And, it felt like it could be really cool, really fun. And so, that's kind of like who I am. It's like I'm like a Swiss Army knife. I'm like a guy who's just like, you know what? I like it all. I like everything. I like peanut butter and jelly, but I also like steak. And so I did kind of already do this last night, and I wanted to still take you through the casting process because I think that, casting has kind of evolved over time, or it's kind of changed because there's a lot of history with, like, oh, well, you have to go to this specific place and you all sit around in like a waiting room and you get called into a room, and it's like really nerve-wracking. It's almost like a dental appointment or something. And nowadays you can just put up a casting call on Facebook and you can get tons of people to send you tapes and to, talk personally about the role and kind of get to know each other. And I think that it's kind of interesting because I think that my biggest issue with and this is not sponsored for this video, I think my biggest issue with modern casting is the fact that it isn't in real life. It's so impersonal, and you can't really get a good feel for what people will be like on set. And so, there's been a lot of times where I've cast someone based on a really good tape, and then I meet them in real life and they turn out to be terrible, or they turn out to be really unprofessional, or they just turn out to not really be right for the role. And none of that would have happened, I think, if I held in-person auditions. But I can't do that. I mean, that would be like, I think that would be like a nightmare. Like I have people from, Boston, New York, Michigan, Ohio. I have people from California. You guys know something that was really interesting, and I'm not going to say any specific names, but there were a couple of big disappointments because there were people who submitted to the role and they never even sent me a tape, an audition tape. And so it's kind of like, oh, well, why did you even submit to me in the first place? Like, why submit if you're not even going to send a tape? Why you're not going to. In fact, there was one person, and she submitted the day before casting was over, and I gave her a whole week, and a week and a day, I guess, to send me a tape, and she never sent one. And that was super, like, disappointing. There was also someone, and you guys aren't going to believe this, she messaged me December, like, 12th. It's the 26th now. She messaged me early in the month and she said, "I will send you my tape later on tonight." And I said, "Thank you. I can't wait to see it." And she never sent me a tape. That was so weird. Like, what's up with that? And like, that was really weird for me. Really, really weird. I had another, a big thing that I tried to kind of take into account is communication. Because to me, one of the biggest issues that I've had with actors is bad communication. And actors who, they don't want to. It's really strange because, acting is all about communication. Acting is literally, that's the job, is communicating. But there's a lot of actors and they cannot communicate, and or they don't want to. And so I tried to send a bunch of messages and see like who is going to respond, because that was a big thing. Like, who will respond, who will communicate, who will have a back and forth. I don't want to work with someone who, isn't going to communicate, because that's not good. I mean, you can't get good work done if you're not communicating on set. And so I had quite a few people. In fact, there was one in particular, she was really disappointing because I thought she could be really good for the role. Like, she submitted and I was like, "Oh," but she did not communicate. She sent one tape and she did not communicate. And I thought that was really sad. It was really, really sad. There were also a couple of others who weren't very communicative, but then after I declined them for the role, they were very communicative. And so I was like, "Oh, damn," because, like, some of these people, I feel like I would have considered them more if they were communicative during the whole process. And you don't really have to be, like, it's not like a huge deal, but it is part of what I take into account along with the audition tape and the vibe and the look that you have. And so that was a big thing for me, was communication. There was also, I'm not gonna kind of stay like in the negative zone the whole video, because this is about casting. This isn't about airing out grievances. But I guess the process itself is like a grievance, though. The casting process can be a pain. It can be kind of a crappy experience. But there was this one person, and it was really, really sad, because she submitted and I thought, you know what, she's interesting. She's got a classic look to her. She kind of looks like a mean girl a little bit, but you know, she seems to be nice. And she sent me a tape. Her first tape was terrible. It was terrible, and she made a bunch of errors. And so I asked her to send me a callback tape. In fact, I only asked for 3 people to send me callback tapes, or 4 people, and all 4 of them were people who I thought needed some work on their auditions. Because the people who submitted good auditions, like, what else do I need to see from them? Like, I don't need to see any more. Like, they've already given me enough to decide or not. But this person, she sent me a second audition tape after like a day. She was like, "Oh," and I took that personally. I took this personally. And so I'm gonna fire back with the tape. And she followed all of my direction to a T, and she did a really good job. And she, it wasn't perfect, but it was exactly what I asked for, and it was really good. And I felt like, based off of that, like, I want to hire her because she's nice, she's friendly, and she's good. But then she shot herself in the foot because I don't know why. I think there's also a lot of actors in the indie scene who are weird, and they have weird issues that don't have anything to do with the actual production or anything, and so they will make excuses to flake out. And we've seen this a lot before, like many times. And this particular person, she messaged me out of the blue because I was going to hire her. I was going to make my decision early. So it was out of the blue, ironically, because she had a blue background. And she sent me a message saying, well, sorry, Marco, I have a movie or a play or something, and, all the preparations and the rehearsals are going to be in, January and February, which is, conveniently the months that you're shooting, one of those months. And so, I can't make it, so good luck, and, with all that. And I was like, oh, like, fuck me, I guess. Because it's like, hey, like, that's like the most, like, insulting thing. Like, like, why would you... Because let's think about if this wasn't bullshit, because we know that that was bullshit. But let's just say that, like, it was true, which it wasn't, I guarantee. I know actors, and I know indie movie actors in particular. The bad ones, at least. The good ones are good. They don't have any issues like this. But why would you sign up for a role if you were already in, contention? Like, do you sign up for, like, multiple roles that are shooting at the same time? Like, and then if you get one, then, screw the other? Because she put the work into doing a callback tape. So you would think that she would, be really committed and really serious and professional, but no, she she flaked out. And so that was really unfortunate. She lost the role. She lost the role all by herself. And that's something else that I've learned about, waiting. Is because if you wait for these people, the bad ones will reveal themselves to you. It's kind of like, like a murder mystery movie, and I'm sorry that I'm just... Here, look, here's my hand. See, look, here's my fucking hand. You can see my hand now. But it's like a murder mystery where, you just have to wait till the end of the movie, and then the killer pulls off his Scooby-Doo mask, and he's like, hey, I'm the bad guy. Rah, I'm the killer. Look at me. This is my whole backstory. This is why I did what I did. That's what always happens with auditions, is that if you have some bad actors, they will reveal themselves to you. And they revealed themselves here. There were obviously a couple of people who just weren't right for the role for whatever reason or another. And, that just, it is what it is. Like, not every role that you submit for, you're going to be right for. And that's why I have to, I have to take a harsh look. And I have to say, hey, is this person right for this role? For this movie? Because this is an important role. It's not just some throwaway role that, I could give to, like, some random person. This is a very important role. So I really had to take time and consideration into what I did here. It was really unfortunate, too, because the others that I asked for callbacks, only one of them sent me a callback. The others just did not even bother. And again, it's like, well, if you're not going to bother sending me a callback tape, then, I'm not going to be bothered to hire you. You know, like, why would I do that? Like, that just shows that, like, you're not really passionate about the role, you're not passionate about the work. And so, like, why would I want to work with you? You know, that's a big thing, is that I want to hire people who are passionate about what they do and who are passionate about being in this movie, is this character. And so, yeah, like, two of the biggest flaws that people had were not being communicative and also just not doing the tapes. I even had someone who's in SAG. I had an actress from SAG, you know, the supposed gold standard for, you know, the movie industry, and she sent me a note. She said, "Hi there, I'm reaching out as an experienced actress who is excited to be submitting to your project. If you like my materials, let me know and I'd be happy to send in a self-tape." She was the first person who submitted to the role, and she was also the first person that I asked to send me a tape. And guess what happened, guys? She never sent me a tape. Like, what's up with that? That was really, really bad. She also didn't answer the pre-screening questions, so yeah, that was a failure. You know, so I'm not going to be too harsh now, because, you know, there were some other people that I denied, and they did all the work that they could. It's just that I didn't really feel like they would fit the role, or I felt like others fit the role better. You know, one of the biggest things that I saw, which I would like to talk about, is the little things. So I know, you know, usually for auditions, whoops, my second water bottle fell over. I drank water. One of the biggest things that I saw, let's just use the marker for some reason, just to make this more entertaining. Here we go. Boop. Is the little things. What does this mean? Does this mean something inappropriate? No, it does not. Get your mind out of the gutter. Obviously not. So let's just erase that. The little things means, you know, usually auditions are very open, are not very open-ended. You get what's called sides, which is, you know, like a little piece of a script, and you have to read that for the audition. And it's really all about, oh, who did the best job reading the stupid paper. But you know what happens when you do that is you lose a lot of the essence of the actor auditioning. You lose the ability to see, like, is this person, do they have the right stuff? Is this person a nice person? Are they creative? You know, are they really passionate about the character? You lose that because you're confined to the paper. You're confined to the stupid script. And so my audition was basically, hey, create your own character and do your own thing. All I'm asking you to do is, number one, say character name and talk about, whoops, yourself. I promise I don't usually write like this. It's because I'm looking at my writing through the camera. Here, I'll show you. A, B, C, D. See? I did a good job there. That's all I told people to do. Believe it or not, there were some people who did not even do this. They did not even say the character's name. That is not good, because I need to be able to know that I can direct you, and that you can take direction, and that you know that you're comprehending. I mean, I don't know. That sounds mean. That sounds pretentious. But it's just like, hey, like, if I ask you to say that your name is, your name, then, say that name. That's a part of the requirements. But one of the biggest things that I saw, and this is something that I didn't even really think about last night, is that there were some people, because this movie takes place and here, let's just draw the United States. This movie takes place in the United States of America. It takes place in Colorado. I had one girl who did the audition, and she had like a southern accent. She seemed to kind of see it as like a southern character. That was weird. I had another actress who kept on mentioning Ohio, because I'm in Ohio, the movie's shooting in Ohio. But it just kind of showed like a disconnect, because it showed like, hey, like, why, like, are you just trying to like get the role, so you're saying Ohio? Like, why not, just leave that out, or just say Colorado? Because I had in the synopsis for the movie, this takes place in Colorado. So, there were some instances like that. I have one actress that I'm actually sad that I declined her, because she mentioned Colorado. She was really good. She gave me like a 30-second audition, and it was like 30 seconds of brilliance, because she did such a good job at doing a lot with a little. And that's something that's really, really impressive. And she's very experienced. She actually has directed herself. She's done a lot. She was in Batman v Superman as like an extra. She's been in a bunch of movies as like an extra, but she seems to be legit. She seems to be the real deal, and I quite like her. I hope I get to work with her soon, because she's cool. She did a great job with that. So after I kind of eliminated some people, and I don't want to be mean about it, because it's like, I'd like to work with mostly all of these people. Like, to me, like, it's almost like it's a painful process, auditions, because you meet a bunch of really cool people who just all seem like they're really cool, and they could be really good in a movie, and you really hope that they get what they need, and they get better, or they get in the right role, because they seem like they could be really good. So after I did that, okay, my camera is having trouble focusing. Focus. There we go. So last night I did person A versus person B. And I know that's confusing, because I said the opposites while writing. And then I did pros and cons. So this is my process right now. And I just went to two people, and I put, like, let's just say person A and person B are who they are. I put their heights, so 5'3", maybe 5'6", maybe, and then I wrote down like key character ability, better audition, and I watched both tapes back to back. I think that really helps watching tapes back to back, because it really kind of mimics or recreates the feeling that you get when you do in-person auditions and you have people lined up and you're watching them back to back, because then you're able to really see this person versus this person. And let's just say cons, this is one of the biggest ones. And all of the people who got rejected for the role, all of them had this one thing in common: unresponsive. That was the biggest, that was the most reoccurring thing: unresponsive. There were also a couple of people who made inappropriate comments. Not inappropriate like, like how you're thinking, like inappropriate, like whatever the fuck you would say, like, because I don't really believe in that. I think that's fucking stupid. But inappropriate in their actual audition, they made some very out of character comments that felt like they just didn't fit this character. And that was for some of the people who did longer auditions. But another thing that I saw was a lot of people were, their auditions were a little too simple. And that is really not their fault. That's really my fault, because I let them have such an open-ended, blank slate. And, they just need more direction. They need something, they need, a little bit more to work with, some people. So yeah, this is what I did. So let's just say she sucked. She was good. So then what I did here, I said, hey, she sucked, so she's not getting the role. And that's a very mean way. I didn't actually do that, obviously. But this is what I did. Okay, so then I got person C. And then, wow. So then that person got eliminated, because wow is better than she was good. And so forth and so forth. So you guys get the idea. This is what I did last night while I was trying to make sure that I did not drink too much eggnog. Okay. So, I ended up with a top 5 or 6. And any one of these people I would have been happy with hiring. Any one of them. Because all of them were really good. So I am actually in a pickle here, because I have not decided. I thought I decided earlier, but I came across something very disturbing. I don't want to say it live on camera, because I don't want to make anyone feel like I'm singling them out. But I found something on YouTube that really, really disturbed me. And it was so sad, because I was 100% convinced that this one person would be right for the role. And then I saw something on YouTube, and it almost made me, it almost made my jaw drop to the floor. So, as of now, I want to take you guys through this. I'm going to decide live on camera. I'm going to decide, and I just checked my Facebook just so you guys know. I'm kind of anal about, like notifications. Like, I don't have any emails that are unread, because I get really, like, irritated by just seeing, like, one unread or something, because it's like, no, I want to read all of them. I want all of that taken care of. So I just wanted to do that really quickly. So yeah, let's just go through. So the number one person A, she is the one who might have personality problems. Person B, she seems like she might be the best. She did a great job acting. She had a really good demo reel, which, by the way, your demo reel doesn't mean shit to me. The only time that I'm looking at your demo reel is if I'm comparing you to someone else and I'm saying, hey, I'm really splitting hairs here. I need to figure out, like, seriously, like, who is the best. And so then if there is extra footage, if there is a demo reel, that makes it a lot easier. And she had an incredible demo reel. So probably one of the best demo reels that I've ever seen. Excuse me. So let's just label her so that I can remember. Person C, she seems like she would be really, really good. But she doesn't, I don't necessarily think that she would be perfect for this role. I'm really stuck because I would love to work with her. I think that she needs a bigger role, but I don't think that she's right for this role. And person D is the exact same. She's in the exact same boat to where it's like, yeah, I would love to work with her. But is this role the right role? I'm picking who this role is for, and so I need to decide, like, who's got the stuff, who is appropriate for this world. Now, I had a couple of others, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Person E, she was kind of amateurish, but that's not a bad thing. Everyone deserves a chance. Everyone needs their shot. She's never going to get better if she never has a shot. And so I really want to work with her as well. And then the last person would be someone, the experienced girl. Experienced. I know that looks like shit. I can write experience. I'm going to write it really quickly just to prove it. This is another thing about me. I love challenges. Wait a second. I misspelled experienced because I'm nervous. Oh, shit. I forgot how... No, come on. Oh, no, I didn't misspell it the other time. Okay. There we go. Experience. She's experienced. I think she might be a hair too old for the role because, unfortunately, that does have to be taken into account here because the character is supposed to be around the same age as me, or if she's a little bit younger than me, then that's fine too. But I just don't think that it would work for the story if she was a little bit older. But still, she's great. Very great. So right off the bat, I'm eliminating person E because I feel like she can get a better role that I can, I don't feel like she's 100% right for the role. And that's all it is. Like, honestly, she was one of the top choices last night when I was really, going through each person. And so, yeah. Now, what's important is that I do need backups. Because if someone flakes out or if someone is bad to work with, whatever the hell, if, they can't handle the role, then I need to be able to say, hey, backups, 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 come over. So I don't necessarily have to eliminate all these people. In fact, I have already told several people that they could be backup, which would be backup one. I'm not really crazy about her being this character because I just feel like she's not right for the character. She's right for another character that I'm going to pitch her, or I'm going to talk to her about in the next month. And then I told person B that she would be a good backup for the character, and I definitely would say so. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the experienced person because I feel like I can give her better. I just think that she's not going to, I really want this person to be the best person for the role. And I don't think like that would happen if I hired this person, but it's not a personal thing to them. It's just the fact that like, hey, like, like some people are right for a role and some people aren't. Person C, I feel really bad about because for about a month, for about the entire time that I was looking at people first glance, I was adamant about her being the role. I was kind of biased. I was kind of like, hey, well, she's got star power. I saw a couple of people, they have star power. They exude charm and charisma and confidence. And she was one of those people, and I would really like to work with her. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to eliminate this person. I will get her in as another backup because I do think that I would love to work with her. So if I had to use her as a backup, I would be really happy. I wouldn't be upset at all. I would be like, oh, hey, well, at least I get to work with you. I want to work with all these people, though, even people that I didn't mention. Like, I would love to just work with a ton of people and make a ton of different stories. So, yeah. So now we get to the part where I obviously do this because, as I told you guys, I don't think she's right for the role. I think she's right for another role, and that is not a bad thing. I love Spider-Man, but here, I'll show my face really quickly. I would not make a good Spider-Man. Duh. I would not be a good Peter Parker. I would not be a good Spider-Man. I would not be a good Superman. I would not be a good I would not be a good Batman. I would not be a good No, I could be a Wolverine. I could be Wolverine, I guess. But I wouldn't want to do all the muscle work for that. I don't want to take any steroids and shit. So, yeah. So, here we go. I hope you guys didn't get too disturbed when you saw my beautiful face in the dark. My room is really dark. I'm probably going to look into getting some better light next year because I really hate how dark it is in here all the time. It's so, like, just kind of, I have to open the window shade for there to be, like, any light in here. It's almost kind of like a cave. It's like the Bat Cave, so yeah. So person B, she was fantastic. She was so good, but she was better in her demo reel. Uh, she's very interesting. You know, like I'd love to work with her. I think in particular, I think that she would be good in my Goosebumps fan series. I think she would be really good. And yeah, it really just comes all down to this last person because she has personality problems potentially. And if that is an issue, then we are in for a disaster, which really sucks because I feel like this girl could be a star in a way that, you know, I pretty much think almost anyone could be a star. But this girl, she is so fantastic that I'm really worried though. I'm not gonna, you know, and I think that she would do a good job, I think. But I'm really, really worried about personality problems. Really, really worried. And it sucks because if I wasn't so worried about personality problems, I would have, you know, if she was like hesitant about the role, I would have gotten down on my hands and knees asking her to do this role because she's got something special. She's got something special. She's interesting. She's an interesting person. But if those personality issues come into play, I'm basically saying, hey, let's just compare. And I hope that this doesn't sound insulting to people because this video is really, I'll probably never do this again. You know, like this is just to show you guys what it's like casting for me. But let's just say there's two restaurants. Let's just say there is. Okay, let's see. One of these girls, okay, person B, and my arm hurts from holding the camera for so long. Ow! Person B is like Wendy's. I love Wendy's. Wendy's can be really good. But there are some times where Wendy's can be bad. Now, person A is like Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's. No. Raising Cane's is too traditional. She is anything but traditional. I'm trying to think of like a weird restaurant, like a place that it's at least got some kind of unique flair that would set it apart and make it more comparable. Dang, now I gotta think about restaurants. Come on, brain, give me a restaurant. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm sorry, guys. I really apologize. But I hope you guys like this if you're sticking through all this time. Restaurants. Okay, I know one. I thought about it. And I really think that this girl is a lot better than this restaurant. But this person A, she is like Outback Steakhouse. Now, I love Australia. I love Australians. I think that Australian women are like goddesses. You know, I think that their accents are just like to die for practically. But I went there for my birthday one year. I was really excited and I was so happy about going to Outback. I took their food to go. I got the meatloaf with fries and I did not get the blooming onion. And it was terrible. it was probably one of the worst fast food or restaurant meals I've ever had. It was one of the worst birthday meals that I've ever had, besides escargot, which I ate on my birthday as well one year. And I'm experimentative. I like to play around and experiment. But a lot of people love Outback Steakhouse. In fact, I worked with an actress named Savvy, and she loves their blooming onion, I believe. She said it was really good. She she holds Outback in a really high opinion, and she's a very critical person, or she can be very critical of things, and so she likes Outback, and a lot of people love Outback Steakhouse, and maybe Outback Steakhouse can be really good, but if it's bad, it's really, really bad. So I gotta look at myself in the mirror, and I gotta look at these people, these wonderful, very nice and amazing people who all deserve a chance and all deserve to become famous. I gotta look at these two people and say, hey, do I want to throw myself in the ocean and trust that Superman is going to come get me? He's going to come rescue me. Even though I can swim, I wouldn't have a problem. I love the ocean, by the way. One of the top things that I would be if I wasn't a filmmaker is like an ocean person, like a fisherman or something. That's one of the things that I would be. Like, I'd love to make a movie that takes place on the ocean. Like, that would be really, really cool. I'll probably do that and then self-insert myself into the movie, That'll be a lot of fun. I'm kind of like Adam Sandler in that way, that's kind of my thing, and if you don't like it, you can go jump off a cliff. And so I did come up with a compromise. And this is actually interesting because, as I told you guys, person B, so I'm coming to the exact same conclusion. I said person B could be backup. Now that I have determined that person A might have a potential personality problem, I have switched spots. I am going to hire person B, and person A, I am going to hire her as one of the two backups, or one of the three backups. And basically what I'm going to do with person A is I'm going to send them the script. And if they have any type of personality problem, she will just reveal herself to me by February. And, if person B turns out to be really, perfect and she really works out, then I'll be fine either way. And by the way, if I'm wrong about person A, which I might be wrong. When you're doing auditions like this, you might be wrong. I've learned that lesson quite a few times, but if person A turns out to be cool and I'm being a total Nimrod here, then I promise you guys that I am going to make it right, and I'm going to hire her in a very big role as soon as possible, as soon as humanly possible. And it's going to be like the greatest thing ever made, because I was really excited about person A until I had some thoughts and looked at a video. So anyways, I have just decided who will be this character live on camera. I was actually considering other people live on camera. I wasn't just playing. I wasn't just trying to, make an, entertaining video, whatever you would call it. So yeah, I have now hired this key character for the film, Dr. Imperfect and the Perfect Man, and I will be announcing this person next Thursday, which is going to be Drimp Thursday. If you guys don't know, every Thursday is Drimp Thursday. That means that on Thursday I will post something related to Drimp or related to filmmaking, and I will say Happy Drimp Thursday, and then a bunch of people who follow me will look at me and look at the post and be like, WTF is that? And I personally, I think it's a huge hit. I think it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting this channel, and because I really do these videos for the people who watch them, and for the new people who come in and you guys like this kind of content. I really like to do these videos just for you guys. And so please like this video, smash the like button, actually, comment, and, tell me what you think. Do you think I'm being harsh? Because I've had a lot of terrible experiences with actors. I'm really, it's almost like hard for me to even like think about like, directing, because I've had so many terrible experiences the last couple years. And I don't want to have another one. I don't want to have another terrible experience because I couldn't just, make the brutal decision in the audition process, the unfortunate decision. And then please also subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. And if you'd like to continue watching me, Marco, build a movie universe. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And if you like this video, you like this channel, you should also check out our Patreon page, where you can see my first short film, County Fear. It is in color and black and white, and I highly recommend you check it out. It is pretty good, I would say. I mean, I know that you guys aren't going to believe me because I made the movie and I acted in it and everything, but I think it's a fun movie. It's kind of like a Goosebumps episode. It's kind of like a Twilight Zone episode. It's got a lot of fun homemade quality to it, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's a fun short, and it's gonna be a part of something bigger soon. I am going to make a full County Fear film, so if you want to get ready for that and get prepared, then watch this first. So So yeah, goodbye everybody. See you soon.